I would also like to say before this video starts that not all of the footage is mine. Some were taken from Encrypted Duck's gameplay, so go check them out. They're really cool.
Childhood games. We all had our favorite, whether it be Minecraft, Mario Galaxy, Plants vs. Zombies, but none of them compare to my favorite childhood game. It contained things any child would love. Explosives, strip clubs, drinking, and a designated offing yourself button. Who wouldn't love that? And no, it wasn't some M-rated game. It was rated E for everyone. This is a game called Little Big Planet. I was obsessed with this game growing up, so obsessed that now later in life I have a tattoo. And I decided to go back as an adult and play through the game. And oh my god, the story and the lore is insane. So I decided I'm going to share it with the world, and everyone will have to know what I know. The first world of the game is a place called the Gardens. It's pretty much the tutorial world of the game, with not a whole lot of lore. We meet the Queen, King Henry VIII, who begs us for some shoes, which is different than the king, and Humpty Dumpty. At the end of the world, the king sends us in a submarine to go to the savannah to find a different curator that hasn't been mentioned up until this point. But Sackboy has no free will and can't say no, so off to the savannah we go. We reach the savannah after our submarine gets shot across the fucking sky, which last time I checked, submarines don't do that, and crashes into a gorilla statue. Somehow we survived the crash, but the statue did not. A monkey then tells us that we broke Zola, the next curator statue. We go and find Zola. We find Zola, and he says he'll only forgive us if we find out what's wrong with his buffalo. We go to the next level and try to find out what's wrong with the buffalo. And they're not upset that the ground is on fire, surprisingly, but they're upset because there is a big-ass alligator eating the buffaloes like popcorn. A typical male buffalo weighs around 2,000 pounds and is about 6 feet tall. The size of this alligator's mouth, shown on screen, is about 2 times that. So this alligator's mouth is about 12 fucking feet wide. That's horrifying. And we, Sackboy, who is about half the size of the buffalo, so about 3 feet, I'm guessing, have been sent, instead of a literal lion, to go and deal with this issue. And we didn't even mean to break the statue. It wasn't even our fault. The king sent us in a submarine and launched us in the air. At the end of the level, you see the alligator getting jumped by a bunch of meerkats who think the alligator ate their brother's stripy tail. We, for some reason, decide to go and help prove the alligator innocent, even though we know he's not. And we have to go and find the meerkat's brother, Stripy Tail. We find Stripy Tail in a Playboy club, and we have to drag him home to his mom. Then the monkey shows up and says, since we're so good at reuniting families, that we need to help his friend Frida with her wedding. We go to the next world and find Frida crying since she can't find her husband, Don. And she sends us to the catacombs to go and find him. We are led through the dark catacombs by some rat-looking dog carrying a lantern before the dog is kidnapped by a spaceship. Yeah, you heard me right, a spaceship. Buckle up, folks. The plot only gets much weirder from here on out. We find a drunk Don and have to drag his ass home. When we get there, before we can tell Frida that we found her husband, she loses her shit and starts trying to kill us with something called a skulldozer. We run away from Psycho Frida, and we drop her off a cliff. And then she just floats back up like nothing's wrong, and Don invites us to go on their honeymoon with them. So, on to World 4 we go. We arrive in the canyons and are greeted by some man with rank-ass breath that literally kills you. He tells us that the evil Sheriff Zebeda has kidnapped Uncle Jalapeno. After blowing up a town and robbing a bank, we find Jalapeno in a jail cell guarded by multiple army men. Hold up a second. Jail is now considered kidnapping? Am I wrong to think Jalapeno might be in a cartel? Like, he makes explosives. We're breaking him out of jail. We just blew up an entire town. Oh well, whatever. Along the way, to get a bomb to break Jalapeno out of jail, we see Frida and Dawn get kidnapped by a spaceship. We go through the mines, a definitely not at all racist level, and just avoid a giant flaming boulder that Zepeda threw at us. Then we go off to fight Sheriff Zepeda. He throws explosives at us, we throw explosives at him, we win because we're fucking Sackboy. And then Jalapeno decides after doing none of the work that he needs a vacation. So, on to World 5. We meet Jalapeno's friend, a blonde mechanic lady named Mags, who immediately insults Jalapeno's car and tells him to take it to the scrap yard. We go and get a new car, and this guy named Zadude challenges us to a street race. He's about to win when he crashes and falls off a bridge. Mags, who gives no fuck, tells us to go down to the sewers to get his car so we can jack his ride. As if this poor man hasn't been through enough. Anyway, we go down to the sewer, we find Zadude's car, it's absolutely wrecked at that point, and then we see Zadude getting abducted by the spaceship. Megs, who we know already does not care about anything, tells us Zadude is wrecking her construction site. This man just got abducted. You're telling me the first thing he did when he got free was go and wreak havoc on a construction site. Also, how in the world does a mechanic have her own construction site? You're a mechanic, Mags. Like I get mechanics can make a lot of money, but I don't think they make that much money. Anyways, we go to the construction site that is filled with shirtless men before we find Zadude, and he's so salty that he lost the race to us that he sends his 2 security guards to try to shoot us down. When that doesn't work, he then himself starts trying to shoot us down. We end up winning the fight because Sackboy's a legend. And then Zadude says, "You're a worthy opponent. Take my private jet and go train with my master sensei." So this dude just tried to kill us. And now he's offering us a private jet. I wouldn't trust that shit. It's probably rigged to blow. Plus, we were supposed to be on a vacation with Jalapeno right now. Where's Jalapeno? Anyways, on to World 6. We go to Master Sensei's temple and immediately see sentient sushi being abducted. I'm convinced whoever wrote this game was on acid. Find Master Sensei, a woman with red eyes floating on an electric blue cloud, and she tells us we need to train to defeat the terrible Oni. We kill some stuff in the next level. We have to go save a flame-throwing cat. I know. We fight 2 big sumo ninjas and a lady with her tits out before flying a hot air balloon into a volcano. Master Oni. After we beat him, Sensei tells us to go to the magician to buy our own magic flame-throwing cat. We meet a shopkeeper who gives us a cat before telling us the dancers in the court will lead us to the goddess. The dancers do a terrible job at leading us in the right direction, and we see one of them get kidnapped by the spaceship before we have to go dodge a massive burning snake. We finally reach the goddess, and the goddess tells us to go meet the magician who is on the other side of the elephant temple. So we go to the elephant temple. The magician then makes us do an obstacle course that he calls a palace before he'll help us. After a painful level, the magician tells us that all of Little Big Planet is in danger because some guy named the Collector has been kidnapping people. He's the one who's been abducting people with the spaceship. So he teleports us to Russia, where the Collector's hiding out. We get to Russia, and a bear tells us to get his family back from the Collector, as if we weren't already doing that, but we agree. We go off, and we see a tiny little tank. It tries to kill us, so we kill it first. Little did I know the damage I had just caused. The entire ass military is now trying to kill us for what we did to that little tank. But Sackboy, being the badass he is, makes the military surrender and then ask for our help. We go through as the hell level known as the bunker, free Einstein, who made the collector's weapons to stop us, and the next level we have to free all the people that the collector has taken. Although the kind of funny thing is you don't actually have to save anyone at all. You can just walk right by them. We beat up the collector, who turns out to be a little mole thing, and he drops the entire reason he kidnapped and imprisoned 32 sentient beings. His reason? He was lonely and didn't have any friends. I'm sorry, sir. That defense will get you absolutely nowhere in a court of law. You can't just do that. In Canada, there's a life sentence for kidnapping. He would have 32 life sentences, give or take. But for some reason, everyone just forgives him? What the fuck? You can't do that. You gotta press charges. Somebody lock this mole up. This game, despite how stupid the plot is, will forever hold a special place in my heart.
Aww.
That being said, this game did not age particularly well. The gameplay is good, though some mechanics like the bombs have their quirks, and you can get soft-locked in some levels if certain enemies fall over and you can't get the bubble on their head, making them impossible to kill. I will also say this game is racist at times too, although I don't think it means to be. It just heavily played into stereotypes. To be fair, things were different in the early 2000s, but still. Here's just a few examples. I feel like deep down this game has a good message. It preaches creativity and that everyone can come together despite their differences. And I think that's a really good message. This game tried to get you to create and build anything you could think of, and I think that's what made it so special.